So, happy solstice, happy holiday, happy festivus, festivus.
Hanukkah starts tonight.
Hanukkah starts tonight. Hanukkah starts tonight, I'm told. I would not have known that, thank you. I'll have to bust up my dreidel.
Your menorah.
My menorah. My mezuzah.
And start cooking.
And get some matzah going.
Latkes.
Latkes.
And sufganiyot.
And what?
Sufganiyot.
So yeah, easy for you to say. So we're celebrating the global either return of the light or the maximization of the light, depending on which part of the globe you find yourself in. Australia's on fire. They get more light than they know what to do with. But what does it all mean? You know, we have this season of the retailer. Black Friday. You know how Black Friday has its name? You know what Black Friday means? For most retail operations, that's the first day they show black ink on the books. They depend on this last 6 weeks of the year to be profitable. Now, that's not true of Amazon, of course, but for brick and mortar retailers, especially smaller boutique kind of shops, that's often the case. And so we are encouraged to consume and consume and consume. However, the good news is we're encouraged to consume for the benefit of others, right? To give gifts so that they will continue to love me, worthless as I may be.
So they can trash them.
So, the return of the light. Actually, this is the darkest. These 3 days. Basically, what the solstice was 10:15 last night. So today, tomorrow, and Tuesday are the 3 darkest days of the year. Or yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I'm not sure how that works out. But the 3 darkest days of the year. And so we are now in the very center of the darkest period, in the darkest yuga that there is. And a yuga is, in the Vedic perspective, an era that covers thousands and thousands of years. This particular yuga is 26,000 years, 24,000 years, somewhere in there. It's Kali Yuga, which is the darkest of the yugas. And we are now in the...
What forms the line between the old yuga?
You know, here's the question is, what forms the line between the old yuga and the new yuga? And you know, I've heard people, you know, the New Age theologians often come up with stuff that makes Dobby scratch his head and makes me scratch my head as well. I've heard it said that, you know, well, we're entering the age of Aquarius, and you know, the sun signs are basically 2,000-year periods. But we're also entering Sat Yuga, which is the Yuga of peace. So I went to my Vedic scholar friends, and I said, are we really coming to the end of Kali Yuga and beginning to enter Sat Yuga? And they chuckled. And they said, Kali Yuga is, again, 26,000 years long. We're about 8,000 years into it. That's what they said. I said, damn. It's going to take a lot of Vicodin to get through this. But as you know, so that's the good news is we have only known those of us who are in a body right now for the last several hundred lifetimes, we have only known Kali Yuga. So we've adapted to it. We've adapted to operating in the darkness. And we are now at the darkest point in the year. So what's the good news? What's the benefit of all that? Wallowing in the bottom of the abyss of darkness. Anybody ever been there?
Yes.
Ever been in the bottom of the pit of darkness? What happened immediately after the bottom of the pit of darkness?
The dawn. It's always darkest before the dawn.
Been down so, it's the old blues song, been down so long it looks like up to me.
Yeah.
Right? At the very pit of the bottom of the abyss of darkness is where the light starts to re-enter, and that's where we are. We're at the point where now, after tomorrow, every day is going to start just getting a little longer, a little brighter. So it's all up from here. That's the good news. But while we're here, since we're here, what use can we make of this bottom of the pit, the abyss of darkness? Anybody here still carrying any grief?
Oh, hell.
So, where is your grief? Where do you carry it in your body? A little self-examination. When stuff starts to trigger you into the woe is me mode, and we all have the woe is me mode, right? Where do you carry that in your body? Where does it show up? Is it a lung thing? Is it a stomach thing? And it's going to be different perhaps for everybody. But just noticing, this is my grief. It's showing up. And the more you can make it physical, the more you can identify the physical nature of your grief, the more in touch you will be with it, and the more you will be able to dance with it in a meaningful way. Because the body is nothing if not a series of muscle contractions, right? From the heart, which is a series of muscle contractions that happens every couple of seconds. Thank God we don't have to remember to tell it. But that happens automatically. The contraction of the diaphragm, which brings the breath in and out. Again, thank God we don't have to tell it to do that. It just happens. But every time we run into any kind of stimulus in our lives, there's a kind of a different set of muscles that contracts in the body. Every experience we have is a set of muscles contracting. If we smile, that's 28 muscles in the face that contract when we smile. That's how you can tell a fake smile, because a fake smile only contracts 20. If the eyes are not smiling, it's not a real smile. So, and when we get like there's a sense of surprise or danger, our core tightens up, right? So there's muscle contract. The body reacts to everything, and there is efficacy in getting in touch with the body. What sensations are you feeling? In fact, this is a whole school of meditation. The Vipassana meditation, the Buddhist Vipassana meditation, is all about being in the present moment, being present with whatever sensations are happening in the body or in the auric field. And it's a wonderful practice. It's very powerful. But being in touch with where our emotions show up physically is a powerful tool to really get in touch with those emotions, to be aware of them in a way that's more than cursory. Because we talk about mindfulness, and we go, oh, there's panic. How many of us have the capacity to go, oh, there's panic? Oh, there's panic! But we can feel it. Where is it showing up? Is it here? Is it in the core? For some people, it's in the lungs. For some people, it's in the back of the neck, back of the head. It shows up maybe as headaches, tension, anxiety. Where is it showing up in the body? And especially grief. Because grief is I believe, one of the more difficult emotions to really get in touch with. I mean, if I'm sad, I can admit it. I'm sad. There's tears coming out of my eyes. Okay, I'm sad. I get it. Right? I'm scared. Hell yes, I'm scared. Everything's puckered up. I'm scared. I'm happy. I can feel it in my chest. I'm happy. But I'm grieving? I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to admit I'm not grieving. What is there for me to grieve about? I have a great life. I have no grief left in me. But I could be watching a movie, and suddenly I'm crying like a little baby, and I don't know why. or listening to a song, and suddenly I'm just gushing tears. Why? I always scratch my head, but where's that coming from? Bingo! Big red light up on the panel. This is a clue. Something's triggered. That's wanting attention. That's wanting, more than attention, it's wanting compassion. Wanting empathy. Wanting me to be with it. Not just as a cursory thought, oh, there's this. But to really be with it. To listen to it. To feel it. To let it have its voice. To meet it with compassion and loving kindness. Hold it like a baby. And see what happens to it. So this is the age, the era of darkness. So this is when our shadow, it's really a time as the seasons go. Many indigenous people really saw this as the time for really getting in touch with our shadow. Really getting in touch with those parts of us that we don't like to get in touch with because they don't feel good. We're hedonists. We like to feel good. We don't like to not feel good. So we create these routines throughout our lives to get more of what feels good and less of what doesn't feel good. Unless we're addicted to what doesn't feel good, which is a talk for another day. And of course, we all have some of those addictions too. But when you get that feeling of melancholy that comes across, well, I have SADS, or I have seasonal depression, or I have, leave all that labeling to the scientists. Just go, I'm sad. And again, go inside. Take a moment. Take 10 moments. Sit quietly somewhere. Go inside. Invite your grief upon the stage of your mind. Center stage. Do your dance. Sing your song. Sing that melancholy song that expresses the depth of you as feeling. And then love it. Let love flow to it. Let light flow to it. And it's not a fixing, it's not even a healing so much as it is an act of compassion, an act of empathy. Remember, last week we talked about what is the antidote to shame. Empathy. So this is an opportunity to be in touch with the physical response of our emotional life, especially our grief, which is the one that hides itself most elegantly. It peeks out when we least expect it. Let's invite even our grief to the center stage. Let it express itself fully. Ram Dass suggested in one of his books that each of us stage our own funeral. Lay out some flowers, put on some funereal music, lay down, cross your hands across your chest, and begin to mourn for me. Begin to mourn for me. Maybe go back to my childhood, all of the sadness, all of the tears, all of the grief that I have felt throughout my life. Let it come forth now, and let me just weep for me. Get it out.
Some of us have done it with Jojoba.
And it has great efficacy, as Esty said. Some of
It was
us
profound.
have done this practice. Because really one of our main tasks as I won't use the woke word because it's become trite, as beings of light, as light bearers, one of our main tasks is transformation. Transformation of our grief into gratitude. That's the mountain we're all climbing. And if we can transform our grief into gratitude, we will become beacons to everyone we meet. We will become like the Therapeutai of old, the legendary Greeks who walked through villages And everyone in the village who was ill was healed by the eminence of their presence without them ever saying a word. This is the capacity we have as humans, to be an energy field that is totally in gratitude, in compassion, in acceptance and loving kindness. We have that capacity, but it's a process. We're not going to flip a switch and have that happen. Nobody's going to come along with a magic wand and kink us and make it happen. We're not even going to go through a particular ritual, maybe, and have that happen, although it's possible. But it's a process of nurturing that which we tend to avoid, allowing it its voice, allowing our hearts to open to it, and in that opening, in that dance with it, that dance of acceptance, that dance of channeling love and light and life to it, it becomes naturally transformed. Doesn't require a great deal of effort. It requires more a focus, a willingness, and a creation of a practice to nurture the process. So this is the time of the darkness, and in many cultures, this is the time of the stories, the myths that come out of those cultures about the birth of the light. It's no coincidence that Christians pick this time of year to explain the birth of the Christ, the Christos, the Anointed One, the return of the light, in alignment with the winter solstice. Actually, 3 or 4 days after the winter solstice, return of the light. They were astrologers. They knew some stuff. So, the invitation is for each and every one of us to take some time during this particular time of the year, especially, to be quiet, to get away from the bands and the noise and the advertising, and get still, go inside, open up the theater of your mind, and invite your grief to come and do its show. Invite your grief. Implore it. Persuade it. And then appreciate it. Open your heart to it. And give it a compassionate ear and eye. Let it do its dance. All the while, holding space for that grief to do its natural transformation, like a tadpole into a frog, like a caterpillar into a butterfly, to transform into gratitude. And in a state of gratitude, we are the willing vessels of the most compassionate heart there is, which is the heart of the universe. And that's the invitation. That's the blessing that I'm offering each of us during the season of the return of light. And bless you, Mrs. Dratkin, and I know where you